Hi fellow dog fanciers, welcome back to a new video. Today it's time to continue with our new puppy Eris, her life here and her adventures. I don't know about you, but I can't tell a puppy lives here. No indications at all. By the way, she's right here. She's next to my bed. She is my personal Velcro dog. I've said it so many times. So she spends a lot of her time wherever I am at. Maybe she will move to the bed, we will have to see. In today's episode, she made some new friends outside, we took her shopping and she picked a lot of new toys herself. We made some progress with her integration among our other 7 whippets. We introduced what the whole nail trimming routine is about to her. And she visited show jumping where she saw horses for the first time. Let's get right into it. Last time I stopped somewhere around the end of her first week home. So the following days we finally had some better weather, and even though it was windy, it was still warm enough and suitable for longer walks in the park. Every day she was more and more excited to be outside, but she still wasn't allowed to be off leash. If you have watched my last video on all about whippets off leash, at the end of it I explained why. Because of that, we had to find her some on-leash activities. And here I'm lunging my little pony, even though I've never wanted to have a pony, I want a big horse. Anyway, she seemed to like this game a lot, and she was not in any way missing out on things to do or enrichment due to being leashed. Let's also not forget that she has a big garden here and she can run off leash whenever and as long as she wants. Thanks to the good weather, there were some more dogs in the park that day, which allowed her to make some new friends. That's a French Bulldog puppy, quite a large one, and although it seems like Eris doesn't enjoy the interaction, that's actually typical for the way she plays, and she was really having the time of her life. I'm extremely selective about the dogs she is allowed to interact with. If it's up to most outgoing puppies to decide, they'd probably want to meet and greet every single dog they see. That's of course not a good idea, and it's your job as a responsible owner to make the right decision on which dog is safe and suitable to be around your puppy. Eris, for example, is not a pushy pup. She's very collected, very well behaved, she has no bullying tendencies, and is definitely not one of those puppies that wants to jump on every dog's face. She is only allowed to be around well-behaved, calm dogs, puppies that won't in any way take advantage of her gentle nature and attempt to push or bully her, and such that are size appropriate, as big as her or slightly smaller. To be honest, I'm not in any way concerned of her playing with even a toy-sized dog because she is very gentle and adapts her play style to the size, the limits of the other dog. And the other day she even played with a Pomeranian puppy, and that went great beyond all of my expectations, but I will show you more of that as the time comes. If I ever get the slightest bit of a concern that a dog is pushy, dominant, reactive, not to mention aggressive, even it doesn't get to interact with her, period. I will not take any risk in her getting physically or psychologically scarred. The absolute best of all dogs at the end of the day is Queen, who is fantastic with all types of dogs, but is an absolute dream with puppies. She's very calm, gentle, and patient, and is also a bit of a puppy herself, given that she is just over 2 years now. To me, this Whippet is a part of my own family, even though she doesn't live here, and since the day Eris met her, she decided that's also one of her favorite older sisters. That day we stayed in the park for 3 hours, and at the end Puppy was so tired that she made a nest in the nearest hole and she crashed in it. Her battery was so empty that even when we got home, she forgot that we've arranged a lot of soft beds for her to sleep on, and she chose the floor instead. One of the following days in the park, Ivy decided it's time to play with her little sister, and they sparred over a rubber chicken together, which melts our hearts because every attempt from our crazy girls to interact with the puppy and engage in some nice activities with her is a huge victory. Once before going to the park, Eris went shopping in one of the largest pet stores we have in the city, and she was like a child in Disneyland and wanted to see and sniff everything. I bought her all of the toys she chose because I can and because why not? In fact, I even bought her some that she didn't notice, but I was sure she was going to like them. And in the car, she was rewarded with the very first one she picked. She probably had at least 30 toys at that point, and to keep things exciting, whenever we introduced new ones, we took half of the old ones and we hid them, and then we reintroduced them a week later and we switched with other toys. That's how she was always excited about her old new toys and never really got too bored of them. The following days, we started to work on actively integrating her into the pack. And to do that, we walked her on leash around the house and in the garden a few times a day in the presence of all other whippets. And oh my god, what is this? Yep, that's a slip lead or choke lead, whatever you want to call it. We use it simply because it's easy and convenient to put on and off and not at all for correction purposes. Don't worry, snowflakes, puppy was not choked or hurt even once. So those little walks opened a whole new world for her and she wanted to see everything at once if possible. And that gave the opportunity of all of the other whippets to get used to her by interacting with her even closer, and they all seemed to enjoy walking around together with a pup. Let's now talk about nail trimming. We know it's not the most pleasant thing for some dogs and also not for their owners due to their dogs not liking it. However, the sooner you start to get your puppy used to their nails being touched and then cut, trimmed, or filed, the sooner you will teach them that that's not a big deal at all. Way too many people wait for too long to slowly start daring to do something about their new puppy's nails that are by that time already too long, and they even forgot what the whole nail clipping, trimming, filing was all about because the last time they got their nails done was at their breeder's house. And the main excuse I hear is we wanted to give the puppy a bit of time to adjust here before we started doing something about the nails. Alright, but why? Nail trimming is simply a routine and something you have to do as a responsible dog owner to allow them to walk and even exist comfortably. It's nothing more than that. The moment you start thinking about adjusting, waiting, you are making a simple routine more dramatic than it ever should be, and you are passing this drama onto your dog. Start touching your dog's feet and nails sometimes during their first week home like it's no big deal because it's not. And also don't wait for the nails to grow too long. It's not necessary either. If you're using a file or a Dremel, you can even do this every 2 or 3 days, a little bit at a time to get them used to it. Her nails by that time weren't long at all, but we wanted to keep them at an appropriate length and shape. and also show her that having her nails done is nothing special. Because of that, this time we used a nail file. We usually use a Dremel on all of our grown whippets. The result? A happy, stress-free puppy and perfectly shaped short nails. And right now, not only is she used to having her nails done, but she also uses the time when she's having her manicure to have a good nap, which I will show you later in the series. On her second week home, me and my sister took her to her first ever show jumping, where she met oversized dogs on steroids, also known as simply horses. She got a lot of attention from many of our friends and met a lot of sweet dogs she could play with, including a young German Shepherd, which I couldn't film. It's sometimes hard to navigate an all over the place puppy while making sure it behaves well with and around other dogs and the other way around while filming. So one day maybe I'll stick a camera to my forehead, and that's how I will not miss any precious moments. We took her both Saturday and Sunday, and it was so important for me to bring her there because show jumping venues are a total chaos and are therefore perfect for socializing and desensitizing a young dog. And especially in our case, as we raise show dogs. Shows are just as chaotic, and I want a puppy to be comfortable in an atmosphere where there are hundreds of dogs, some of which stressed, others barking. The third part are whining, also hundreds of loud people, loud music, a microphone, and a judge they've never met touching them, etc. And she learned a lot this weekend. New creatures aren't scary, new people can be fun and loving, but also to sleep, eat, drink water, rest and stay calm while speakers with loud noise and microphone were exploding just a few meters away. I was honestly so happy and proud of how well she soaked all of this information in just 2 days and how much she liked being there. And this was a major help in preparing her to be in new places and new situations she faced the following weeks, including her very first show. And I think we'll end this episode here and we'll continue in the next one because I don't want to overload you with too many different details in the span of 10 to 15 minutes. I hope you continue to enjoy this series, and for any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll make sure to answer. Have a lovely weekend and a fantastic week afterwards, and I will see you next Friday with a new video. Bye bye!